Hi there. Some of you will remember me and some of you may not. About 8 years ago, we started some videos about cake decorating on a budget. My daughter was filming. She was about 10 years old. Her name is Maxie. We were in a professional kitchen that I had just moved into, had designed so that I could do my baking well and conveniently and do a good job and put out a lot of product. I had a baking business on the side. I taught lots of children how to cook, some older folks. Took cookies to the nursing homes. I mean, we had a pretty good little business going, and it was all on the side. I have 5 children, and so I learned to cook for a big family, and we cooked a lot for events, made a lot of things for weddings. That's just kind of what I did. It was just it started out as a hobby years ago and then progressed, and I became really good at it, and just kept going and started teaching people how to do what I did. I want to digress just a little bit back to why I was gone so long. You'll notice the hoarseness, and I'll explain that too. We did these videos to start with in about 2007, somewhere around there. We moved into our house in 2006, June of 2006. 2 weeks after we moved in, our builder had put in defective bathtubs in the house, and I was sitting in my office one night about 11:30 or so, and water started pouring out of all of my windows. This was kind of devastating, and I'll never forget sitting in the floor with bedspreads and everything I could find in the house to sop up this water, thinking, this is bizarre. This just doesn't happen to somebody after you've been in a house 2 weeks. It just doesn't happen. But it was happening, and it happened to us. What we didn't realize was the water was bad. The water was severe. But because our builder didn't work ethically or morally, as far as I'm concerned, we weren't covered by anything, and we didn't realize that because we had insurance, lots of insurance. Insurance doesn't cover mold in Tennessee, and what we had was black toxic mold, and we began to get ill, and we were sick for a very long time, and we were very sick. My husband had a business, I had a business. We both lost those businesses because we couldn't work. My son was in bed for months from an illness that we didn't know he had. It was through the summer. He never played ball again. It was just one thing after another. It was so bad and so gradual that we just really didn't know what it was. Ended up losing our home. We lost our cars. We lost our clothes. We lost our furniture. We lost everything, and all because we had a builder that was bad, and I won't repeat his name. I won't say his name. He's in Knoxville, Tennessee, and his daddy's picture hangs in the courthouse. And but I won't say who it is. But I want you to know he's the worst builder in this world. Okay, just having said that, I compare what we went through to somebody who's had a fire in their home, and if you've ever heard or known somebody that had a fire, it's pretty devastating. The one difference, though, between a fire and toxic mold is that if you have insurance and you have a fire, unless it's arson on your part, your house is covered. If you have mold and you lose everything and you have insurance, they don't care. You're not getting covered. So that's kind of where we were. We were lost, and we were left with nothing. So we had to start all over. And I tell you, it's hard to live on a 17-year-old's income if you're 50. And that's kind of what we had to do. But I say all that, not to feel sorry for me, but because I'm trying to make a point. And what my point is through the years, every time we've had something where we needed money for, a financial issue for anything, something's coming up and we need extra money, or oh, this expense happened and we weren't ready for it, we need money fast. Every time that happened, I turned back to my baking, and it's been very successful. And I can have money raised usually within a day or so, if people know that I'm baking something, I just put the word out, usually now on Facebook or something. I say, tomorrow's cinnamon roll day, who wants to order? And I get orders just like that. So that's why I'm making this point that disasters happen. Financially, you can't always predict, but there is a way out if you have the desire and the talent to pursue making money from your kitchen. During this time, I went back to school and got a business degree. After all these years, I got a business degree. I'm not sure it did me a lot of good at this point. While I was at school, there was a group there called Access and Diversity, and what that's for is old people who go back to school. And that's what I was. Anyway, we had a lot of events. We raised money for different things for the school, big events, community events. And for those events, we had to have a lot of cooking done. So I was kind of drafted into doing some of the cooking for those events, and it was very successful. In class, sometimes I would make stuff and take it in. Every time I did, somebody'd say, "Hey, do you make these things for money? Can I order?" So it kind of started again. If you do anything that you're good at like that, somebody's gonna get the word out, and it's gonna snowball. So you're gonna get busy doing something like that if you're good at it. There's always a way to get the word out. Remember, I'm saying all this to make a point later on. In 2014, my daughter was going to go to Ghana, West Africa, for a mission trip, a medical mission trip with our church. The cost was $2,500 for the tickets and everything. We had to raise our own money. So I had an idea. I had to raise some money, so I know how to make pound cakes. Let's try making pound cakes. I didn't want a big variety because that takes a lot of time. But if I could make a bunch of pound cakes and sell those, but how would they know what they taste like? So I need to make one so people can try it. But I didn't want to make one and just set it out for people to try. I wanted it to be kind of specifically targeted to people who would buy, not the kids. So I made a pound cake and I cut it into little kind of pieces about an inch square, and the height of the bundt cake, the pan. And I put it in a little plastic bag that you get, like if you're putting beads in a plastic bag from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something like that. And sealed it. They're Ziploc bags, and I sealed it. Put a little card just like this, so just a little index card with something that just said Maxie's fundraiser or Ghana fundraiser or something like that. Pound cake, $60. I think it took between $5 and $7 to make a pound cake. It had real butter, sugar, vanilla, flour, buttermilk, the good stuff. Anyway, but good ingredients. But one cake was a pretty reasonable price. So anyway, we made those samples. We bagged them up. We stapled the little card onto the bag, and I put them in a basket on Sunday morning and set them in the foyer at church. Before I knew it, they were all gone. And by the end of the service, people were placing orders for their cakes. So we sold about 20 cakes in the next week or two. That was a lot of money. And it did help a lot. Got us almost halfway there with our money that we had to raise for our part of the trip. My point is, again, every time I needed to do something financially, where I needed a financial push, I turned back to my talent of baking. And what I did was I wrote an ebook about all of the things that I've done over the years that have brought in money in my baking. I put not only what to do, I put how to do it and how to market that free. I never paid for marketing. I never paid for advertising, but I did everything I could to get free marketing and free advertising, and it worked every time. Sometimes it was a little tricky, but it was ethical, and it always worked. And nearly everybody that found out how I did that said that was really smart. I would never have thought of that. But what I did was I wrote this ebook, and with all of my hints and my tips and my information in there. It's not very long. Each section is 2 or 3 pages maybe, single spaced, but every word I say in there is key. It's a very jam-packed, condensed, I guess, a little ebook, and I'm selling the ebook for $10. $10, I hope, doesn't sound like too much to you, but if it does, think about it this way. If you put $10 into this, the first thing you do out of that is going to make you that $10 back. I promise you that. There's not one thing in this book that won't make you some money. The good thing about baking is you don't have to plan a whole lot. You can say, I'm going to sell some cookies, and you can have them sold by the next day. So there's no learning curve a whole lot about what to do. It's fairly easy to raise your money. While we're talking about how to raise money and everything, let me give you an example. We had, when she was getting ready to go to Ghana, and we'd made about half of our money. We still needed some more to come in. So we were getting kind of close. It was like January, and it was about December. And Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all the way around their holidays. They were leaving in March. So we had to get some more money in. We had about half of it to make. So I thought, well, I know if bake sales, I suggested to the youth group, let's have a bake sale. Well, nobody really wanted to do that. You're not going to make enough money off of cookies and brownies to, for a bake sale for that. And it's a lot of work. So I decided I'd just do one myself. And if nobody else wanted to do it, that was okay. I'd raise money for Maxie myself. So I put together for 2 days. I baked all this stuff, and for about 45 minutes to an hour on the following Sunday morning, we set up stuff and we sold. It cost me about $300. I used Pancake money for the $300 to use to purchase the stuff for this bake sale, but we brought in about $1,000. So we cleared about $700. That was almost what we needed to finish paying for our trip. So, I think these methods are tried and true. I've done them myself. That's what I've always done. I've always fallen back on those methods. They work. I've experienced them. I put my marketing tricks in there. That they don't cost anything. There's no marketing cost at all, no advertising cost. Just the cost of what it takes to bake a pie or a cake or cookies or cupcakes or whatever method you're on. I wrote them in this ebook. This ebook is mine. I have done all of them. Nothing's made up. There's no fluff. There's no extra stuff, no extra pages. It's not a real professional book, but it's chock full of information. The thing about baking is it's an easy startup. There's no going out and getting stuff. There's no fancy installations of wires or computers or lines or anything like that. No special training, really. You don't have to worry about some human resource department doing background checks and waiting to get references done and we'll get back to you later. Or we're reviewing applications. We live in Tennessee, and I'm here to tell you, things don't happen fast around here. It's the only place I know you go to Hardee's and they give you a number. So anyway, I just want you to know this ebook may not be for you. It may not, but it may be, and it may be for a friend of yours. If you know somebody that's struggling or needs some extra money and they like to cook or they have a talent in the kitchen, send them this link. The link from my book is going to be at the end of this video. So just go right to that link, and it's on selfie.com. And it's called 8 Ways to Cook Up Cash in Your Kitchen. It's a great little book. $10 will last you a lifetime if you learn how to use the techniques in this book, the methods I used. $10 one time will make you a fortune over years. So anyway, go to the link, purchase the book. There will be videos on there for cooking classes at some point. Right now, the ebook's the only thing I have on there. But please go to it and purchase it for $10, $9.99. I'm not even sure what the price is. But anyway, if you like it, put a review on there, or go back to YouTube and put a review on it. Let us know how you like it. Also, let us know what you want classes of. I'd be glad to make classes for whatever requests you have. I want to know what you want to know. I want to know what you want to learn, and I'll show you how to do it. Anyway, I'm going for now, and I will hopefully have some new videos up within the next week, and I plan to be pretty regular about this from now on. So anyway, good night for now, and I'll see you later. Bye.